even on the scale of what Cincinnati Technical College was,
Right.
then we were celebrities on campus. And
Wow. Big man on campus.
Yes.
Wow.
Big tigers.
Absolutely. You know, I'm feeling a rush of emotion that I didn't expect. Recalling these experiences and reminiscing. In my situation, I believe that I developed the ability to connect with people and disarm people based on a very challenging family of origin. So I said, this had a profound impact.
Yeah.
I said, I need to support the college and embrace it. Your success and failure in life is directly tied to your ability to overcome adversity.
What makes us resilient? What makes some people continue to pursue their goals and dreams in spite of roadblocks or challenges? What if all we needed was an opportunity? Imagine if we trusted our talents, our abilities, and our strengths, then took a chance on ourselves. FutureProof is a Cincinnati State faculty and student-created podcast where students, alumni, and employers share adventures in learning outside of the classroom. We hope you will cheer, cry, and laugh along the way as we share our students' stories of resiliency and overcoming the odds. Find out what happens when we finally stop saying no and start saying yes.
Hello, and welcome to FutureProof, the Cincinnati State podcast, where we interview our very talented and successful alumni and hear about their lives post-Cincinnati State. We have a wonderful guest with us here today, graduate from 1984.
Just yesterday.
And
so 20
I
years ago,
graduated
right?
from high school with Harry Truman.
Right.
Oh,
stop.
okay.
Stop.
We have with us Mr. Ken Wilson. Welcome, Ken. Ken, we're wrapping up summer here.
Yes,
we
we
are
are.
wrapping up
Yes.
summer. One of my good friends said to me this week that August is the Sunday night of summer.
That's so beautiful.
I know, but it really made me sad. It kind of was like bummed me out, you know, because Sunday nights bum me out a little bit.
The end is nigh.
It is nigh. Okay.
Beautiful.
If you're still listening, we're gonna talk about
We'll pick it back up. We'll pick it up.
So make the most of August is the advice. here.
Beautiful, but that is so beautiful.
I love it.
Doesn't the word August mean like the actual definition of August? Something is August is it's an August
actually a
idea is
word.
something new, right? Isn't that correct?
No, I learned something.
Nate,
Stick around.
can you
like,
Google
I just
that?
Picking up what she's
Producers,
putting down
like
all day
something that's
long.
August. I feel like there's a definition to that, not just the month, but
What were you gonna say?
I was, here I am thinking I knew everything.
Wow. Well, we're
okay.
good for a lot of stuff that's not worth much.
Yes, this has been incredible already.
We have to ask. We're so blessed that you're here with us. Thank you
So
for
Ken
spending some time.
is a graduate of Cincinnati State and also has been involved in Alumni Association,
All the
has
things.
had many, many amazing careers that we're going to talk about today.
Before we do, can I
Yes.
divert us a second for something
Yeah.
that's really important
we
to me?
we never divert.
Never
There's
go
never
off
a
track.
diversion.
But I need to divert, and we got to ask Ken our question.
Oh
that
yes, we do.
Come on,
Because
we
he's going to
gotta-
know it.
Right. I mean,
All right.
make us all feel good here. Come on, after Nye and Harry Truman, let's pick it back up, people. Go ahead.
Okay, so we need to know if you have heard of Laverne and Shirley.
I have.
Okay,
We ask everyone that. We ask everyone
Seville,
that.
Savaco.
We're gonna do it.
Yes.
and we'll
Okay.
do it.
So that's
our way.
us.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
started out scrappy.
Oh.
We started out so when I started working with Jayne, it felt a lot like Welcome Back Kotter, right? So I would
You know Welcome Back Cotter too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cotter, sir. Do you
Do you see all this gray in this beard?
Okay, see, he knows He knows. Okay. A lot of our guests did not know either one of those references.
All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you got to Cincinnati State?
How I got to Cincinnati State was pursuing a basketball dream.
Oh, yes. Listeners, we used to have a basketball team here. When I started, we had a basketball team.
Wow. The gym is still beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so there were resources invested. We were the Tigers then.
You got to Cincinnati State for basketball. Was it a scholarship?
It was,
okay.
yes.
And I'm just curious because a lot of our guests, this wasn't their first choice. You know, coming to Cincinnati State was not their first choice.
It clearly was not my first choice. I was a mediocre student in high school, but I was really smart.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
I got a 30 on the ACT.
Wow.
And got a lot of interest from basketball and academic to from smaller private schools that didn't offer full scholarships.
What did you do when you got here and you were on the team? And what was that energy like in terms of, junior college basketball team? Because for people that have graduated more recently, they can't even imagine that was kind of it was a very different energy at our school then.
Yeah, so hoop dreams and
Yes.
Junior college basketball, long bus rides,
Yes.
Right.
Small per diems,
Right.
packing lunches to go play basketball all over the state of Ohio and Indiana. We drove to Jamestown, New York for a tournament. And so it was pros and cons. I mean, there's some guys that I played ball with here that I'm still in touch with.
Nice.
Yeah, we became brothers. And even on the scale of what Cincinnati Technical College was
Right.
then, we were celebrities on campus.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Big man on campus.
Yes.
Wow.
Big Tigers.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Tigers.
Right.
You got a bunch of, 6'4", 6'6", 6'7" guys walking around, kind of swagging around and confident and, very vocal and I wouldn't say flamboyant, but we had a presence in the building. And it was fun. Long practices, commutes. There was, no on-campus housing or anything like that.
Right.
So it was kind of like high school. It was an extension of a basketball career, and it was like college, all in one. So it was a dynamic cocktail of variables that delivered an experience that helped me launch my life.
Yeah. Kind of allowed you to keep experiencing that sort of notoriety that comes from being somebody who's an athlete and
Yes.
represents the school, but also introducing this sort of pathway of there's something that's going to happen beyond college basketball because
Yes.
I'm probably not going straight from C-State to the NBA.
I did not.
Spoiler
It is.
alert, ladies.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, everybody. So while you're at Cincinnati State, you were studying business marketing,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about, your program and the curriculum and your experiential learning.
Yeah, it was incredible. I had some incredible instructors that poured into me, exposed me to some things that I didn't know existed, business concepts. I remember I was in a sales class, and we were talking about elevator pitches, and I had to give a presentation in front of the class, and I was very unskilled and terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaching and encouragement, the helping me not to use so many fillers and and
Yeah.
all those kinds of things that I've carried over 30 plus years in a professional life, and I have become a very, if I would humbly say so myself, accomplished public speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, I get paid to talk to people about personal finances and financial strategies and those types of things. I was just in Houston and made $5,000 in an hour.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
to a bunch of engineers, and so that all happened. The genesis of that, the foundation, was Cincinnati State.
Wow.
So you attribute the foundation of your business acumen to the academic curriculum that you experience here and the quality
There's
of
no
instruction.
question.
Wow.
Whoa. I want to hear about what you did for experiential learning,
Yeah.
because these were early days at our college.
Yes.
And I think the approach to let's get students right out working right away,
Yes.
come back and take some more classes, go back to work, was really just embedded
Yep.
in the way that people did things. And the idea that you're going to learn just as much, if not more, outside the classroom, so that when you come back, everything makes more sense to you what you're studying because you experienced it working. Can you talk a little bit about what you did for your internship or co-op?
Absolutely. I'm feeling a rush of emotion that I didn't expect. Recalling these experiences and reminiscing. So I worked at Central Hardware in Forest Park
Okay.
as a part-time job. I met a man who worked at GE aircraft engines.
As a customer.
As a
while
customer,
See,
yes.
this is networking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in and purchased a gas grill. And he said, "Can I take this display?" I said, "Sir, that is a sales tool."
By the way, that's what I try to do all the time. Can I just buy the one that's already put together, this lawnmower? They're like, no, keep walking, lady.
Yeah.
So he said, "Well, who put that together?" I said, "I put it together." He said, "If I paid you $50,
Oh.
would you come to my home and assemble this grill?" I said, "Sir, write your address down." That is a affirmative.
Yes.
And so I was off on a Sunday, went over his house, and took that grill out the box, bought my own tools, assembled it, started it up. Well, he had already had a propane tank, and he was asking me, "What are you doing?" and et cetera. I said, "I go to Cincinnati State. I just completed my first year, and I'm working at Central Hardware, and they're giving me co-op credit for it."
Oh, no. Yeah, that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Would you be able to come to my office in Evendale on Monday?" I said, "The answer to that question is the same answer to can I put this gas
That's the
grill together?"
address.
That's a yes. And so I ended up working for the Air Force as a civilian at GE aircraft engines. So United States Air Force had a contract with General Electric to build engines to put on fighter jets. And so they had civilian employees there.
Okay.
And so I did that and got to learn a lot about contracts and
Vendors, all that.
yes. And it was a great experience, and I maintained that relationship when I graduated from Cincinnati State and went to the University of Cincinnati. And when I graduated from UC, they offered me a job.
Wow. At GE.
At GE.
Wow. Okay.
Which I did not take. But,
okay.
Yeah.
But all this stemmed from somebody recognizing and seeing in you, one, initiative, two, this guy shows up, brings his own tools, gets the work done, can talk to somebody. And I think that's so critical. And you brought that up about your comfort in talking to people. But I think it's something that as educators, we see more and more is that difficulty in communicating and
Yeah.
Yes.
and how key it is in relationship building.
Yes.
But somehow, and I'm looking at my phone, being the current, we've got our phones. So when a meeting ends, when a class ends, you're looking down, you're walking.
Yes.
That contact with people in the spaces that exist for us to connect gets lost a little bit. And
Yeah. And did you, he just laid out, our intro to co-op class
yes.
right away. Elevator speech,
Mm-hmm.
networking, taking chances. You said we both tell, hold on to your contacts. You've held on to your basketball team. You've held on to your first boss at
Yes.
GE.
Mhm.
Did you have that within you? Was some of already? Was that built in you? Did you pick it up in class? Was it both?
In my situation, I believe that I developed the ability to connect with people and disarm people
Mm-hmm.
based on a very challenging family of origin.
Mm-hmm.
That I had to develop those survival skills, and we're talking, in the early '80s,
Mm-hmm.
the normalization of black people in business, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal, and it made me think and reflect. It talked about the impact that Michael Jordan and Oprah Winfrey had on the normalization of black people, and Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
the normalization of black people in America
Right.
in the '80s.
Right.
And Cosby too, probably.
Yeah.
Cosby could be
Yes.
thrown into
a
that.
universal collective respect for talent and professionalism.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, it was in the '80s when Michael Jackson made Thriller.
First album I ever bought with my own
Same,
money.
I had the earrings. I put pennies on the counter for the earrings with his face
Yes.
on it. Yeah.
MTV had a policy that they didn't play music videos of black artists.
What?
Yes. And so Michael Jackson's record label forced them to air these music videos. So, I was
I had no idea about that.
I did not either.
Wow.
Yeah, I was walking in rooms in General Electric, and they had back in the early, I think they had probably 3,000 employees at Evendale. Back then, they had 20,000 employees, and it was just coming out of the Cold War and that kind of stuff, and the Reagan administration was stockpiling military capability.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was booming over there. And, I was in conferences, in rooms, in wings of this facility where there wasn't another black person. And so I've always embraced being a bridge builder, being a person that brings people together, being a person that is committed to healing and mentoring and encouraging. And so growing up, my parents were married a combined 8 times. My father was...
Not to each other.
No.
Okay. No, they just maybe kept changing their mind about to different.
But there's a point.
Yeah.
And it a lot of instability.
Yeah.
My father was married. My father was married 5 times. My mom was married 3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
K through 12, I moved 13 times.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I developed skills that I didn't know that I was developing, that I was able to use. And mentors and people. There was a woman here that was an instructor in business. Her name is Swanya Smith. She's now deceased. That had a profound impact on my ability to believe in myself.
Mm.
Her son, who when I was here, he was probably 9 years old. I'm still in his life.
Oh,
There was a man that when I worked at Procter & Gamble, a guy named Bill Blair, he was the first white person that I ever loved.
Mm.
wow.
And he changed the trajectory of my life.
Mhm.
He told me I was brilliant. That was like, you know,
Yeah.
flushing water down the toilet. I didn't believe that about myself.
Mhm.
And so he took me to an organization that I never heard of, an organization called Mensa. Are you guys familiar with
Oh,
Mensa?
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, we don't belong, but
no,
we
no, I just,
So
I didn't want to tell you what my ACT score was, but
So,
okay.
so I took the test at Mensa, and I was a genius. And then I started to believe it.
Yes.
And then because Bill Blair believed in me and stood on the table in rooms where the doors were closed and advocated for my advancement
Wow,
to become
yes.
an executive at Procter & Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
When I left P&G in 2008, my federal adjusted gross income was in excess of $500,000 for 2008. I made a lot of money, and that would not have been possible without this white man.
This advocacy.
His advocacy, this guy that loved me, helped me believe in myself. He loved my family, and that changed my worldview in the way that I interacted with people in a country where we live segregated and
Yes.
siloed, and we come together on college campuses and workplaces, but there's no real intimacy.
Right,
That was an
absolutely.
intimate relationship, and it gave me a thirst for understanding cultures and people who are different.
Beautiful.
This is giving me
Absolutely.
chills.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that
Ken,
with
what
us.
do you think is how do you think you see differently because you've had this community college experience,
Yes.
you've been an executive. Do you, when you're interviewing and you're looking over somebody's resume, are there some things that you're looking for that pop out to you that says this person's got grit or this person's resilient? And I
Yes.
know because you there's a value in that, and that means something. But do you sort of look for it when you're talking to people?
Yeah, so when I look at a resume and from somebody who has a community college experience, same kind of experience I had. When Dr. Owens was my mentor, he mentored my son, and he encouraged my son to go to medical school. He's now a physician. He's an OBGYN in Washington, D.C. His wife is a cardiologist. And he first reached out to me, and he took me up to his office. Have you guys been up there?
Yes,
Yeah, it's very nice with the outdoor balcony and all that kind of stuff. And he puts he had printed out my LinkedIn page.
Okay.
And he said, "You want to be on the board of Cincinnati State?" And I had been on a lot of boards. I was like, "Not really." He said, "What about you?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got anything else?
ADHD, man. Like, sitting in meetings.
And how many years
Well,
did it
yeah,
take
but-
for you to
Right.
realize I don't have to say yes
Right.
to things?
Yeah,
Because
to turn-
that's because
It did take time.
Yeah,
It does take
because you
time.
don't turn down that ask without knowing,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And so he talked to me about the alumni board. He said, "Why don't you want to sit on boards?" I said, "To work all day, to drive to some place and sit in a conference room from 6:30 to 9 or 8:30.
Yeah.
I said, I'm more of a hands-on and involved with the students, et cetera. Then he recommended the alumni board.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I've got some questions about your LinkedIn profile. He said, when did you graduate from Cincinnati State? I said 1984. He said, why isn't that on your LinkedIn
Oh,
profile?
I say that to students all the time. I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, bam,
Wow.
he got me. Like, why am I embarrassed of Cincinnati
Right.
State?
This is what I think is interesting, because people aren't, and they all say they love it, but there is a little bit of a hesitancy for the same reasons you said. Are people going to judge me? Am I
Community
seen
college.
As like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, this had a profound impact.
Yeah.
I said, I need to support the college and embrace it. I said, you're right. Thank you for that feedback. And so I made an adjustment on my phone before I left campus and,
Wow.
and updated that and included it, and then started a journey on the alumni board.
Nice. You've been involved with alumni, in lots of different ways over the years. So I'm real curious, because we talked about culinary and kind of getting back. Now you leave P&G
Yes.
to start a franchise.
Yes, I
And
did.
are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
We can
Sure.
say it.
Yeah, we
can
Yeah.
say
say
it.
it. Yeah.
Okay, at Chick-fil-A,
Yes.
which you can disagree, but I feel like Chick-fil-A is the Disney of fast food.
Oh.
It's incredible.
Am I right? Like
Yeah.
you don't really leave a Chick-fil-A and think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Most people are like, that was great.
My
Like,
pleasure.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
training,
Incredible.
Is that why?
what brought you to that? I mean, I don't know a lot about franchising and
Yes.
No, yeah.
but you're a
Yeah.
businessman, so that must have looked like, let's do this. You recognize Chick-fil-A got something going on here.
I did. Just from the perspective of a consumer,
Mm-hmm.
just like the experiences
Yeah.
that you guys just articulated. So, 20 years plus into P&G. So I moved 7 times
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in 21 years, and ascending responsibility and progressive and promotions and stock options and RSUs and 6-figure bonuses and all of this kind of stuff. But there's a price to pay for that.
For sure.
I remember I was coaching my son's 7th grade football team in Mason, and they made the championship, and they were going to play at night under the lights on the high school
Yes.
field. And we were so excited.
Big
It was
time.
going to be on a Thursday night before the Friday night game. And so the varsity team and all these people would come out, and everybody was really excited. I get a call from my president at P&G on a Sunday night. And she said, we need you to be in Dubai on Wednesday. I said, that's not going to work for me. She said, why not? I said, I got a big day with my son on Thursday. She said, well, you got a decision to make. I said, I've already made it. And so I saw the conflict in values and the balance of family and work. And I was going through a lot of emotional things at the time and was having a crisis in faith. I'm a man of faith, and that is what grounds me and defines the way that I view humans. And in an 18-month period, my wife and I lost our oldest daughter. My mom died suddenly, and my father went to prison. And so I am trying to contemplate who I want to be, my legacy.
Things start to look real different in
Very,
terms
very
of
different.
order of
Very, very
importance.
different. And I'm looking at my kids, and I'm not going to Dubai. Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I started planning an exit strategy. And I knew that being a W-2 employee, that there's a price to pay for that. And I never felt that I was rewarded based on my business contribution, my production, my ideals. I was rewarded on my ability to build advocates. And so you go to work, you do your job, but if people don't like you,
So true.
it's not going to work out for you. And that's what I tell people that I mentor.
Yep.
So
Performance is this much.
that's right.
Right? Image and exposure.
Right.
This much.
So P&G had a thing
Yeah.
called pie.
Yes, pie.
Yeah. So you just articulated that. And I was thinking about entrepreneurial ideas. I did not want to be a W-2 employee. So I said, man, I love Chick-fil-A. Listen, I'm going to go do a Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I had no idea
Wow.
the vetting process. So the year that I applied to be a franchisee, they had 30,000 applicants and chose 20 people.
Whoa.
And so
I had no idea.
I said, how do I get seen?
Yeah.
So I started scheduling time with local operators, franchisees.
Uh-huh.
And they gave me a peek behind the curtain. I met an amazing guy named Marcus Slight. Him and his wife, Heather, are now clients of mine and dear friends. And they own the Chick-fil-A in Deerfield.
Mm-hmm.
They own the one on Tylersville Road. They have a
man.
unit inside of Kings Island.
Yeah.
Line around the building.
And
line around the
when
block.
Marcus applied for a franchise, he's German. He knew about 200 words of English.
Oh my God.
And so he was talking about his experience, what Chick-fil-A values.
3 of them were Chick-fil-A. The words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Chicken.
Yeah, sorry.
Chicken, waffle fries.
Yeah.
Were 3 of the words.
Yeah. Lemonade
Sorry.
with a lemonade,
Listen,
please.
I was all in.
my
the can,
pleasure were the
and
other
then-
words.
and
I'm
then-
sorry.
I'm sorry.
But
I'm
it's
sorry.
so
Keep go-
true.
No, sorry. She.
Cheryl, what are
I'm
we going to?
sorry.
I want a franchise.
I mean,
We're going
we
to take
talked-
some financial
we
advice off the
talked-
thing,
yeah,
off
no,
the air.
Ken's
Because
gonna mentor
I'll say
us,
this,
he
they
said.
make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
They make
what about
a
maybe
lot.
graders? Can we do graders?
Well, and they're
franchise?
very
Okay.
visible, by the way. No. We go we are frequently we are frequently enjoying, and those owner operators are right there doing
are.
it all.
They are.
They're
But I
amazing.
want to know if you feel like, because I don't know anything about owning a franchise, but
Yes,
did it end up being more work? Because I feel like,
an incredible amount of work.
man, but was there more of a balance because you could decide or no?
Work-life balance.
Yeah, I
So
was
you were
gonna
like,
say.
work-life balance, here I come,
Yeah.
and you're
No.
saying
I wasn't getting on airplanes. I would say the first 6 months in it, my body would break down about every 4 or 5 weeks.
Wow.
I would get some type of virus and 103-degree fever
Oh my God.
and not sleeping, not exercising. It was, and then coming from Procter and Gamble, where I'm flying on private jets and
Right.
had 2 secretaries and so many resources.
Right.
Yeah.
To now I'm unloading trucks and mopping floors and that kind of, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And what I would say, if there's
Because you were driving your own ship.
well, no, it's worth it because of one, what you learn about business,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then 2, the financial generational wealth
Mhm.
Wow.
that-
Okay.
that you can build. And what I would say to a student or someone that is listening to this, do not be dissuaded by difficult, heavily vetted opportunities.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't shy away.
Don't shy away because you can do it. You can do. And so when I passed that Mensa test,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was brilliant. And I knew that I could do anything I wanted to do. And so that process didn't intimidate me.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to have an epiphany experience at some point in your life. Keep showing up.
Keep showing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there are going to be no's. There's going to be disappointment. I remember when I transitioned out of Chick-fil-A and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my working life. I was applying to big consumer products companies that were competition of P&G.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Kimberly Clark,
Right.
S.C. Johnson.
This is what you knew.
Johnson. That's what I
Dow.
knew.
Yeah.
I could
Mhm.
fall out of bed and do
Right.
it. I had relationships with every major retailer. I knew people at Walmart. I knew people at Target. I knew
Mhm.
people Seattle at Costco.
Yeah.
I knew people in Nashville at Dollar General, at Publix in Orlando. And so I knew I could leverage that and monetize it for a company. And there were a lot of companies interested in me. But, and I did end up taking a job with a small company based out of Atlanta. And, but I had some disappointments. I really wanted to work for Kimberly Clark. Because I had been in advertising with Procter & Gamble. I was the brand manager of Love's Diapers.
Yes.
They have Huggies, and I know that industry.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to hire me.
Yeah.
But they didn't have an appropriate level job. And so they said, hey, stay in touch with our VP of HR. It's going to work out and blah, 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 blah. And I did that for 4 or 5 months. That person left Kimberly Clark. And so my connection, and so it never happened, and I was disappointed. And so that's going to happen.
Yes.
And so one of the best trainings I ever had, I was at Procter & Gamble, and I took a training called Adversity Quotient. A guy named Paul Stoltz, and he wrote a book called Adversity Quotient, the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in training. And the supposition is that your success and failure in life is directly tied to your ability to overcome adversity. And so
this is like FYE, first year experience course.
Yeah.
Grit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
By the way, we've never I just borrowed your pen. Like we've done like 20 podcasts
Yes.
in the
notes.
queue. And Jayne, I'm like in school right now. Like, can I borrow your pen? I'm taking notes. I'm sorry.
He said, I'm gonna have
No.
Ken come teach a class.
No, yeah.
So the adversity piece is you take a test, like an IQ test. And he said that he's done thousands of these all over the world. He said the highest adversity quotient he's ever tested is with Nelson Mandela. He gave Nelson Mandela this test. And he said as a people group that teachers have the lowest EQ. That if somebody's ruffling paper in class, they spaz out and this, that, and the other. And he just said, their ability to deal with adversity now there's individuals obviously, but he said, as an occupation group,
interesting,
that he said high school teachers.
God bless them.
He said they struggled to deal with adversity.
I've had some high school teachers that just they turned the lights off and said, "Just shut up, just please."
That's how they deal with adversity, right? Yeah.
I love them to test some community college.
Yeah, let's go. Our entire college,
right? The whole thing. I think I know.
And they give the scores like I knew he was.
Like that one we'll file into battle with, but this one they need some help. So what are you up to now?
I am walking in my life's calling now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
yes,
that's so beautiful.
But he doesn't like to be asked what do you do? He doesn't ask people what they do either, because who you are and what you do.
In the context of this,
I love that.
Yeah, so
did I miss? Hold on,
no, we were just talking about how often it is that you meet someone and the first thing you say is, "What do you do?"
Oh yeah.
And it's not really the most interesting thing about
no.
that person.
Well, they want to assign value to your life based on your
ideas. I'm with you on that.
This is not that.
No, I thank you for appreciating. I was like, what did I miss?
I know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I am I'm a financial advisor.
Yes.
I have a wealth management practice.
Beautiful.
And I help people do pre-retirement planning, retirement planning, legacy planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, insurance planning, life insurance, disability, long-term care, to plan for life events that can devastate you financially. I help people build wealth, pass wealth. I help people achieve every conceivable financial dream and goal. And when you think about it, so we all have how many biological parents? This is not a trick question.
Right.
Two.
Right.
We have two. How many biological grandparents do you have? You have 4 biological grandparents.
Sorry.
You have 8 biological great-grandparents.
Yes.
Right. So out of your 8 biological great-grandparents, how many do you know right now today their first name and last name? None for you?
No, I know a few, but I'm shaking my head like I
Yeah.
can't do all 8. I could get to a couple.
Great-grandparents. No. Yeah, 2.
Two.
Maybe
Yeah.
2.
It's 1 for me,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 for you.
Yeah.
And so what essentially happens, this podcast, your career, your occupational pedigree, your life's journey, your values, the baton of faith, if you have one,
Mm-hmm.
your family is going to forget you in 2 generations unless you leave a legacy.
Wow.
And so I help people think about things they've never thought about before. And I help people, particularly people coming out of this environment. I work with a lot of people that I call middle-class millionaires. People that have never made more than $80,000 a year, and they have well in excess of $1 million net worth. Because I'm in the process now of writing a book called The 6 Financial Muscles. 6 muscles that if you exercise, you'll be financially fit. The number 1 financial muscle is saving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we live in a materialistic, social media driven,
Yes.
live your best life on a beach on a credit card
Yes.
society.
Every single commercial says that. You deserve it.
Yes.
You deserve it.
Yes.
So it's true. You deserve
No,
it.
I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But
Yeah.
that idea of deserving something has created. Everybody knew there were people with lots of money,
Yes.
but people with just a little bit of money
They want to
think
live.
they can live like
the
people with lots of money, and they deserve it, right? And it's this whole shift that the credit card has allowed to happen.
What I talk to
Yeah.
people about is their relationship with money. I help people improve their relationship with
Oof.
money.
Ken, this is exciting. I'm taking notes.
No.
I'm gonna have to call you after the
No, I
after
got-
the
yeah,
after the
no.
recording.
Yes.
I got some questions after we shut down.
Okay.
Uh,
all right. All right.
Thank you so much for joining us
My
today.
pleasure.
And,
Oh my gosh,
my
thank
pleasure.
Mm.
Thank
You brought
you.
it back.
Ken,
Do you
thank
find
you.
yourself saying that?
It's ingrained
Yeah.
forever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for talking to us about your experience, which is unique, and being vulnerable and sharing with us, about you and how that attributed to your success. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. It's been great being back at the college.
Yes.
Yeah. Emotions that I didn't know I had. Yeah.
Ah. And
It-
thank you for giving a shout out to the faculty that
Oh,
you
yeah.
worked with,
Yes.
because inevitably every single guest we've had on,
Mm-hmm.
that has been a critical part of their success, is just the impact of and they could name them by name, people that they worked with, people that
John
supported them.
Wagner, shout out, man.
Yes, John Wagner. Oh my gosh.
And to our listeners, don't forget to like and subscribe to catch all of our new episodes and to find out what happens when we stop saying no and start saying yes.
The FutureProof podcast is brought to you from Studio 459, up on the hill at Cincinnati State's main campus in Clifton. This podcast is produced in conjunction with the Cincinnati State Audio-Video Production Program, its students and faculty. If you like what you heard here, please hit the subscribe button. If you're an employer or potential student interested in the programs Cincinnati State has to offer, please visit cincinnatistate.edu.